What if I told you that one of the most studied natural substances on the planet has been sitting on store shelves for the price of a sandwich, overlooked, underestimated, and surrounded by more confusion than almost any other remedy I know of? What if I told you that for people over 60 in particular, taking a small amount of one specific oil and gently working it into your skin every night before bed could do something that quietly supports your body in ways most people have never had explained to them properly? Now, I want to be honest with you right from the start, because you deserve nothing less. I am not going to tell you this oil cures disease. I am not going to tell you it replaces your medication, and I am not going to make wild promises that fall apart the moment you look at the actual research. What I am going to do is walk you through what the science genuinely shows, where it is strong, where it is still early, and exactly how to use this oil correctly so that you get the real grounded benefits it does offer. Because there is a real story here, and it is one that most seniors have never been told clearly. My name is Dr. Leon Hayes, and welcome back to the channel. If you are watching for the first time, this is a place where we cut through the noise. We do not chase headlines, and we do not sell miracle cures. We look at what the research actually says, separate the genuine findings from the marketing hype, and give you something you can put into practice tonight. So stay with me all the way to the end, because I am going to explain exactly what happens to your skin as you age, which oil I am talking about and why it is unique, what the clinical research genuinely demonstrates, and the precise way to use it so you get the maximum benefit. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what actually happens to your skin as you age, because most people have no idea just how dramatically it changes after 60, and why those changes reach far deeper than appearance. Your skin is not just a wrapper around your body. It is the largest organ you have, a living, dynamic interface between your internal biology and the outside world. It is filled with nerve endings, immune cells, lymphatic channels, and tiny pathways through which certain molecules can pass into the deeper tissue and, in some cases, into the bloodstream. Here is what aging does to all of it. After the age of 60, your skin's production of collagen drops by roughly 1 to 2% every single year. The deeper layer of your skin, called the dermis, begins to thin. The little energy factories inside your skin cells become less efficient, and they start producing more of those unstable molecules we call free radicals than your body can comfortably neutralize. Scientists call the result oxidative stress, and it is not merely a cosmetic concern. Chronic oxidative stress in the skin is linked to the kind of low-grade, persistent inflammation that sits beneath so many of the discomforts that come with age. Stiff joints, aching knees, sluggish healing, and skin that simply does not bounce back the way it once did. And here is something most people are never told. As your skin ages, its ability to repair itself slows down. Wounds take longer to close, irritation lingers, the protective barrier weakens. This is not a moral failing or something you did wrong. It is biology. But biology can be supported, and that is where tonight's topic comes in. Now let's talk about the specific oil I am referring to, because this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The oil is black seed oil, derived from the plant Nigella sativa. And before you wave this off because you have heard the name floating around the wellness world, I want you to understand something. There is a real gap between the noisy online chatter about black seed oil and what the actual peer-reviewed scientific literature says about it. As of recent counts, there are well over 2,000 published scientific studies on Nigella sativa and its primary active compound, thymoquinone. That is an extraordinary amount of attention for a naturally occurring substance, and it tells you researchers have taken this seriously for a long time. Thymoquinone, let's just call it TQ to keep things simple, is a bioactive compound that appears to work through several different biological mechanisms at once. And that matters, because most pharmaceutical drugs are designed to work through a single narrow pathway. TQ seems to touch a number of pathways that are directly relevant to aging skin and the everyday discomforts seniors deal with. Let me walk you through them, and I promise to keep the language plain and the claims honest. The first mechanism, and the one with the strongest evidence behind it, is its anti-inflammatory action. Multiple studies have shown that TQ can inhibit an enzyme called COX-2, cyclooxygenase 2. That is the very same enzyme targeted by common anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen and naproxen. The difference is that those medications, taken regularly over years, can be hard on the stomach lining, the liver, and the kidneys, which is a real concern for many people over 60. Topical black seed oil offers a gentler route. In one study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, regular application of Nigella sativa oil was associated with a meaningful reduction in markers of skin inflammation in human subjects, not in a petri dish, not just in mice but in people, within about 6 weeks of consistent nightly use. That is a real measurable finding, and it is the heart of why so many people report that their stiff, achy joints feel a little easier after weeks of steady use. The second mechanism is its antioxidant activity. TQ is what scientists call a free radical scavenger. When it penetrates into the skin, it helps neutralize those unstable molecules that are quietly degrading your cellular machinery. But it appears to do something even more interesting than that. Research suggests TQ can help activate your body's own internal antioxidant defenses, essentially encouraging your skin to ramp up its own protective systems, rather than relying entirely on what you apply from the outside. So you are not just adding a little protection topically. You are giving your skin a nudge to defend itself, which over time is the more durable kind of benefit. The third area is where I want to be especially careful and especially honest, because this is exactly where the online world tends to lose the plot. You may have heard claims that black seed oil wakes up your stem cells and regenerates tissue, or even that it kills cancer in your body. I am not going to repeat those claims because they outrun the evidence, and repeating them would not be honest medicine. Here is what is actually true. In laboratory settings, meaning experiments done on isolated cells in a controlled environment, not in living human beings, TQ has shown some intriguing effects, including in studies on cell repair signaling and on certain abnormal cells. These are genuinely interesting findings, and they are why researchers keep studying this compound. But the leap from interesting in a laboratory dish to rub it on your skin and it will heal you internally is an enormous leap, and the science simply has not made that leap yet. If anyone tells you otherwise, they are getting ahead of the facts. I would rather you trust me with the honest version, because the honest version is still genuinely encouraging. The fourth mechanism involves the skin's microbiome and its barrier. As we age, the community of beneficial bacteria living on our skin's surface tends to fall out of balance. And that imbalance is associated with conditions like eczema, dryness, irritation, and increased vulnerability to minor skin infections. TQ has demonstrated antimicrobial activity in laboratory studies, and importantly, it appears to help restore balance to the skin rather than wiping everything out indiscriminately the way harsh treatments can. A healthy, well-balanced skin barrier is one of your body's frontline defenses, and supporting it gently is no small thing as you get older. Now let me tell you why nighttime application specifically matters, because this is not arbitrary, and it is one of the most overlooked details in this entire conversation. During sleep, your body shifts into a phase of repair and restoration. Cortisol, the stress hormone that tends to suppress healing and immune function, drops to its lowest level of the day in the early hours of sleep. Cellular repair processes, including the maintenance and repair of your skin cells, are most active during the deep nighttime hours. And here is the practical part. Your skin actually tends to become more permeable at night, meaning substances applied before bed are absorbed more readily than the same substances applied during the busy hours of the day. So when you apply this oil at night, you are not simply choosing a convenient time. You are deliberately aligning the application with your body's own natural healing rhythm. This is what scientists call chronobiology, the timing of biological interventions, and it matters far more than most people ever realize. So let me give you the practical guidance you actually need to put this to use. When it comes to choosing a black seed oil, quality is everything, and most of the products that disappoint people are simply poor quality. You want an oil that is cold-pressed and unrefined, because heat processing degrades the very compound we care about. You want it certified organic, with Nigella sativa clearly named as the botanical source and ideally with the thymoquinone content disclosed. In good quality oils, that figure typically falls somewhere between 1 and 3%. If a product will not tell you what is actually in it, I would be cautious about trusting it. Now for the application itself. Take a small amount, roughly half a teaspoon, and warm it gently between your palms. This helps it absorb and feels far more pleasant on the skin. Then apply it in slow, gentle, circular motions to the areas you want to target. For everyday joint discomfort, work it directly into the knees, the lower back, or the hands. For the hands in particular, which give so many seniors trouble, massage it gently into the knuckles and the soft webbing between the fingers, where stiffness so often settles. For general skin health, the chest, the inner forearms, and the neck tend to absorb well. Allow the oil to soak in for at least 10 minutes before you cover the area with clothing or bedding. And here is the part people skip, which is also the part that matters most. Do this every single night, consistently, for at least 8 weeks before you judge the results. Biological change is slow and steady, not instant. Anyone promising you overnight transformation is selling you something rather than helping you. The people who see the best results are the ones who treat this as a quiet, dependable nightly habit, not a magic trick. A quick word on safety, because it matters. Black seed oil has an excellent overall safety record and has been used by people across many cultures for a very long time. But a few sensible precautions apply. If you take a blood-thinning medication such as warfarin, speak with your physician first because TQ has a mild blood-thinning effect of its own. If you have known plant allergies, do a small patch test on your inner forearm before applying it more widely, and wait a day to see how your skin responds. And if you are currently undergoing cancer treatment, please talk to your oncologist before adding anything new. Not because of any known danger, but because during active treatment, it is wise not to introduce variables your medical team has not accounted for. These are not reasons for fear. They are simply the kind of sensible lay care any thoughtful person should take. There is a reason this information does not get the spotlight it might deserve in mainstream medicine, and it is worth understanding honestly. Naturally occurring plant compounds generally cannot be patented, and without a patent there is far less financial incentive to fund the large, expensive clinical trials that move a remedy into official medical guidelines. That is not a conspiracy. It is simply an economic reality of how modern drug development is funded. It means that promising natural compounds often sit in a kind of research limbo, studied widely, talked about loosely, but rarely given the rigorous, large-scale human trials that would settle the questions once and for all. And it means it falls to those of us who read the literature carefully to bring you the honest, balanced version, free of both the hype and the dismissiveness. So here is the truth plainly. Black seed oil is not a miracle, and I will never insult you by calling it one, but it is a well-studied, inexpensive, low-risk natural option with genuine, evidence-backed benefits for inflammation, antioxidant support, and skin health. Benefits that can be especially welcome for those of us over 60, who deal with daily stiffness, slow healing, and skin that has lost some of its resilience. Used correctly, consistently, and at the right time of night, it is a small, sensible habit with real science behind it. And you deserve to hear about it the honest way, with the genuine promise and the honest limits laid out side by side. I hope this video has given you something truly useful tonight. Not just interesting, but something you can actually act on. If you found it helpful, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It sounds like a small thing, but it tells YouTube's system that this information is worth sharing, which means it reaches more people over 60 who would benefit from hearing it. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Every week we bring you the kind of careful, honest, evidence-based health information that your doctor may simply not have time to explain in a rushed 15-minute visit. And in the next video, and I genuinely think you are going to want to see this one, we are going to talk about a pair of simple, everyday habits that, when done together, have been shown to support healthier blood vessels and circulation in older adults. Circulation quietly underpins so much of how we feel and function as we age, and almost nobody talks about how much these two small habits can help. It is coming very soon, so make sure you are subscribed and have that bell turned on so you catch it the moment it goes live. This is Dr. Leon Hayes. Thank you for trusting me with your health, and I will see you in the next one.